You don't lose your team because of one bad decision. You lose them in the quiet moments no one talks about. The moments where something feels off, but you say nothing. In the wild, when the alpha hesitates, the pack notices. Not immediately, not loudly, but instinctively and slowly. They stop following. In the office, it looks different. No one growls, no one challenges you directly. They just stop trusting you. And here's the uncomfortable truth about most middle managers. It's not incompetence. It's fear. Quiet, socially acceptable, career-preserving fear. Fear of disappointing their boss. Fear of being exposed. Fear of saying something they can't take back. So they adapt, not to lead, but to survive. And survival looks like this: nods in meetings, silence in critical moments, agreement when something feels clearly wrong, because silence feels safe. But silence is never neutral. It always costs someone. And most of the time, that someone is your team. There was a manager I once worked with. Let's call him Mike. Mike wasn't a bad leader. He was smart, reliable, the kind of person you'd trust with execution. But leadership isn't tested in execution. It's tested in tension. One Monday morning, his director walked in and said, "We need this project done by Friday." On paper, it sounded aggressive. In reality, it was impossible. Mike knew it. You could see it in his eyes, that half-second pause, that internal calculation. He looked at the timeline, then at his team, then back at his director. And in that moment, he had a choice: create discomfort or avoid it. He said, "Yeah, we'll make it happen." The meeting moved on, but something stayed behind. Later that day, his team gathered around his desk. "Did you push back on this?" There it was, the question that defines leadership. Mike hesitated, not because he didn't know the answer, but because he didn't want to say it out loud. He said, "Let's just focus on execution." And that was the moment. Not loud, not dramatic, but irreversible. Because in that moment, his team understood something, not about the project, but about him. That when pressure rises, he disappears. No one argued, no one complained, but something shifted, quietly. They stopped asking for his opinion, stopped expecting protection, stopped believing he would stand up for them. A week later, his strongest team member resigned, not because the work was too hard, but because there was no one left to stand in the gap. And here's the part no one talks about. This doesn't always look dramatic. Sometimes it sounds harmless. Leadership wants this. This came from the top. There's nothing we can do. But every time you say that, your team hears something else. I'm not responsible. You're on your own. And slowly, the role of leader disappears. Because when everything is from the top, there's no leader left in the room. Now here's the shift. Leadership is not about control. It's about ownership in uncomfortable moments. You're not stuck. You're choosing. Choosing safety or choosing leadership. So what does that actually look like? Not theory. Real moments. Let's rewind that same situation. Same room, same pressure, same impossible Friday deadline. But this time, Mike responds differently. He pauses, takes a breath, and says, "We can hit Friday if we reduce scope. If we want full quality, we'll need more time." Notice the difference. He didn't say no, he created clarity, he stayed aligned without abandoning reality. That's leadership. Now fast forward, same team, same pressure. They ask him again, "Did you push back?" This time he says, "Yes. Here's what I told them, and here's what I'll do to protect the team." That's it. He didn't win the argument, but he showed up. And that changes everything. Because your team doesn't need perfection. They need evidence. Evidence that you're in the fight. Now here's another moment, even quieter. Pressure comes from above. Deadlines, expectations, stress. And most managers do one thing. They pass it down, unfiltered, unchanged. But that's not leadership. That's transmission. Leadership is transformation. Cut the noise. Remove what doesn't matter. Buy time where you can. Your job is not to deliver pressure. Your job is to absorb it and reshape it. And yes, this will feel uncomfortable. So start small. This week, say one thing you've been avoiding. Just one. This timeline is risky. Here's what needs to change. You don't need to fight. You just need to stop hiding. Because leadership is not about authority. It's about presence. The willingness to stand in discomfort when it actually matters. Will this create tension? Yes. Will everyone like you? No. But something more important happens. Your team starts trusting you, and your boss respects you more than you expect. Because the truth is simple. You don't lose authority when you speak up. You lose it when you stay silent. And the moment you choose silence to protect yourself is the moment your team starts walking away. Not loudly, not immediately, but quietly. They disengage, they disconnect, they leave long before they resign. And by the time it becomes visible, it's already too late. In the end, people don't follow titles. They follow courage. So let me ask you this. What is one conversation you've been avoiding? And what would happen if you actually said it this week?